Hi guys. So right now it is like 9 o'clock at night and I haven't done a video. I haven't turned in a video yet today. And it was such a nice day. Such a nice day today. So I wanted to get a video in. There has been so much running through my mind, and that's exactly what is going to be happening right now at this point in time, because we have Uranus entering Gemini, so our brains are going to be all over the place, and it's just going to be very chaotic. But high anxiety, it's gonna be tension. I can already feel it in the body quite a bit right now too, so it's interesting. But it was such a beautiful day today. The girls and I, my teenage daughters and I, when I say the girls, it's always just my kids and I, because that's who I hang out with, my kids. And we went out downtown and we went to sell some antiques and some of our collectibles and stuff like that. So we went out and we just celebrated today. We just had only the intention of seeing how much we could get for them, and getting rid of them, and not bringing this stuff with us into this new era that we are building, that we are starting. And so we just went out and enjoyed, and it was really fun. It was really fun, just joking, and we had a very interesting experience at Neater's. We went out and had a dinner to celebrate, treated ourselves to kind of like a healthier dinner. And I tell you what, the chaos was already beginning. It was already started. You could tell that when we got up to the counter, nothing was going right. You could tell that they were out of half the breads. They were out of tomatoes. They said 2 bags of chips. Later on, we found out that they only had one kind of bag of chips. They were basically out of most of the desserts. They didn't have any smoothies. And at one point, and I asked for a turkey bacon avocado. Okay, Danielle and I both got one. So when I got mine, I wasn't even paying attention. I took a couple of bites and I was like, something's wrong with my sandwich. And Emma asked to take a bite and try ours, and she's like, why is yours so small? Where's the meat? They didn't even put any meat in my sandwich. I got up to the counter, and the poor girl, the manager that was trying to run everything, bless her heart, I stole that one from the South. But I mean it in the nice context, as in Lord, I hope that she's okay, because she was struggling. I asked her, I was like, there's no meat on my sandwich. And she was like, oh, we ran out of turkey. Do you want me to give you your money back? What do you want me to do? And I was just like, do you have any ham? And she was like, yeah, we have ham. And I was like, can I have some ham on it, at least, And so she did that. she was running all over the place. She was straight trying. And you could tell that they were just like, they didn't know what to do. They really had no idea what to do. I asked, I paid for some of it with cash and then the rest with my card, and they didn't even know how to handle that. Like, it was just chaos all around for them. And so, you know, that right there showed me how kind of like a precursor to what's to come with a lot of things. A lot of people are going to be tested on their ability to handle stressful situations, because things are going to start, like the boat is going to be a rockin', okay? And if you do not know how to think quickly, if you struggle with making decisions quickly, if you are an overthinker, if you have high anxiety and you know you're afraid to make the wrong choice, all of that's going to come into play. I mean, even today when we were selling the items, we all sat there and we all had to decide, okay, this person's offering this much money. Are we okay with, you know, taking this? You know, these are all the other options. These are the possible, you know, things that we could possibly do. And, you know, we could try and see if we can get it for a better price, but that's also wasting our time. You know, we're actually going down, we're just talking it out, just going down logically down every single step, every little possible avenue. And we came to the conclusion that, you know what, this is the best one. Yes, it may not be as much as we would hope for, but at the same time, we're getting rid of it. We didn't want to keep it in the first place. And, you know, oh well, it's going to a better place, because we don't want the item, you know, and we're not going to waste time looking for a better option, a better choice. Let's just take it. If you struggle with like all of this stuff, like hoarding and holding on to things, or just so many things are going to come into play right now. It's just for the next 7 years, this is what's happening. Uranus entering Gemini is going to really upset things a lot. And if you are someone that struggles with, you know, making a decision and sticking with it and being okay with it, then it's really going to eat at you, because you're going to overthink a lot. So why I bring this up and everything is because of the fact that today it was nice, because when we were driving, I had feelings come up about it, and we sat and we discussed it and we talked about it, and I was just like, you know, I think the part that is kind of hitting the hardest is that it's over. Like, those items are now gone. So it's the end of an era. It's the end of this thing. And so it's kind of hard when you know it's done. You know that it, because sometimes we hold on to this little glimmer of hope or this little belief that, you know, not that we want something to come back, but it's just like, just hope, or just a thought or a belief, or, you know, I read that for people that create trauma bonds, you know, it's not about, like, when you reminisce on the good times, there really weren't any good times. There was just an absence of bad times. And so it kind of like, it really clicked in my head, you know, like, it's just a weird feeling when you know it's over, when something is gone, when you've let go of something. there's this like weird feeling you get where you're kind of like, shouldn't there be something there? So, just these thoughts that are coming up and things I share about the situation, but also to like remind you that during this time, also be really grateful for these kind of milestones, like these little moments. This right here, these are the good times. This day with my girls was so much fun. Like, it was just memorable. This is what a good time is. This is what you can hope for. Is like a day where you go out and you have fun. You're not going out to like spend all this money and be like all crazy and, you know, all this stuff. Just enjoying each other's time together and making jokes and playing around. And I cannot tell you how much we laughed and how much we talked, and it was just how much fun we had. Going on adventures, going on these little adventures to find different antique stores to like see if they would buy the stuff. Going into a comic book store and just like talking comics and all of this stuff, and enjoying talking, you know, geek with other people. It's, you know, just enjoying the present moment. Also, something to really think about on your journey, if you already have done so much in your life and, you know, you still want to do so much more. I told my daughter how, you know, I may not be where I want to be in my life right now, but I am now where I used to want to be. There are, like, going back downtown and seeing some of the places that I once went to, or that I once experienced memories at. It was so surreal to see how far I have actually come in my journey, and just how much I have grown in that whole entire time span. Like, even with my kids, you know, my oldest graduating here shortly from high school and talking to her cousins and family, just wanting to, you know, get back in touch with us because we haven't talked in a long time. My ex-husband's brother calling to congratulate her and everything, and just catching back up after years of none of us talking whatsoever, like 6 years almost. It's been about, you know, that kind of stuff. It's just insane. And celebrating those little wins. Like, when you are going on this journey with healing, Lord, when you go on a journey to try and become the best self, the best version of yourself that you can be, when you want to actually be successful, when you want to have this millionaire mindset, it's not an easy task. It is one of those things that you are having to retrain your mind, and that is a hard thing to do, because we have been taught all of these things by family and media and friends and just like society. We've been taught so many things that we've accepted and perpetuated into our own lives. And then now you got to go ahead and you got to take all of that stuff and you've got to change it. Well, like, how do you even know where to begin? There's a lot of actually cool ways that I have found out that I'll be sharing. I'm not doing it right now because, sorry, we're in the zone right now. But also I'm putting together a program that helps people to be able to do this, because that's kind of what it is it's a program. But with that, being able to change these things, you have to be able to constantly celebrate the small wins. We'll write that up here on the board. Celebrate the small wins. That looks interesting. I'm gonna have to get a new one, probably. But not right now. Okay. Celebrate the small wins, because nobody's gonna celebrate your small wins but you. Really and truly, you have got to be your biggest cheerleader. You have got to be the one that picks yourself back up when you fall down, and you've got to be the one that celebrates the small wins, and you got to be the one that tells you no when you want to do something that you know you shouldn't be doing. You got to be the parent. This is the whole reparenting yourself kind of thing. If you had crappy parents, then you had no good example. You had no good example. And some of the even TV shows and stuff that we grew up on, those parents weren't even good examples too sometimes. Like, I'm sorry, you got screwed a little bit, you know? So you got to be the parent. You got to decide, you know, like, you get to decide what you get to do. You have to be the one to pick your butt up and go to work. You need to be the one to set the alarm, put your phone over on the other side of the room so that you have to actually physically get up out of the bed and wake up to go get the phone, put your phone on a really obnoxious time, like sound, and do multiple alarms. If that's what you need to do to be able to get you to wake up. Go to bed early if you struggle with getting up early. Yeah, it's not, you know, beautiful, but you have a job. You know how many people are fighting for one of those? That's the thing, is you've got to be the parent to yourself. Look up ways to try and solve the problem instead of like making excuses and telling people that they need to understand. We're all going through our own crap. Why is it on us to take care of another person when we're already dealing with our own stuff? So, why I bring that up is also like the small wins. You've got to be the one, like, if you do something, like if you get to work on time, celebrate that. If you've struggled multiple times and you were late to get in work, if you struggled multiple times just to even get up in the morning, and you woke up and you got ready and you actually didn't go back to sleep, celebrate that. Seriously, I'm saying, like, you need to say, I am so proud of myself. Sheena, I am so proud of you. Go stand in the mirror and say that to yourself. Seriously. I don't think you fully understand how much that actually helps you. To stand in front of a mirror and look yourself dead in the eyes and be like, Sheena, I am so proud of you. You actually did it. You got up and you didn't even go back to sleep. You got up, after the first alarm and you actually started getting ready. Do you know how much that will build your confidence? It's a huge deal breaker whenever you celebrate all the tiny little things. I cannot tell you how many little things I had to celebrate, because this is one of those things that our brains are wired to pay attention to the negative stuff all the time. This is what they call, look for the silver lining. Always find the positive in anything and everything. Why? Because when I was a teacher, it was taught to us that we needed to say, it was 3 positives back then. I think what I've heard recently is like 5 now, maybe even more. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 10 now, to be really honest with you. 10 positive things to 1 negative thing, because we will hear that negative thing and that's what we will focus on. Doesn't matter. Even if you, even with a sentence, my son points this out because I had a really bad habit of doing it. Still do. I still have to catch myself because it's such a habit that when you say anything and then enter the word but and then something afterwards, that is such a nice shirt, but I don't like the color. What you said before the but is now null and void. It doesn't matter. It's gone. You might as well erase that. Where's the pencil? So you can have use the eraser and just we're good. All of that. We have been trained to do these things. These are things that are normal to us. They have been normalized. Why? Because of the fact that they have been things that have been done to us by our own parents, by teachers, by, family, by friends, by anything and everything. You have to be the one to change it. You can't expect others to change. Only you can change. The Gandhi quote, be the change you wish to see. It's got to start with you. It's got to start with you. I can't even tell you how many times I asked God, whenever something was happening and I had to be the bigger person, or I had to lead the way, or I had to be in a leadership position. Any of these moments, I was just like, why, God? Why do I have to be the different one? Why do I have to be the leader of this? Why do I have to do it first? Why do I have to do it first? That was one of my, I'd always say it. And his reply always was, because someone has to. Because someone has to. And so that's why I would always try to be the bigger person in situations. That's why I would always, and I don't want to say always because that's black and white thinking, but I would usually, see, even in that moment, I had to catch myself and reframe and change. This is all stuff that takes time and practice. So, not perfect, still working on it, but I won't give up. But while I was working on a lot of the stuff, I would celebrate every single little win. Every single little win. If I paid a bill on time, I would scream out, "Yay! I'm so proud of myself!" I'm not lying. So, right now, even whenever I was with my kids and we were just out there doing our thing, I was mentally celebrating all the little things that I was so grateful for. I was celebrating the fact that we had the money to be able to go and do this, that we had the time to be able to go and do this. I was celebrating the fact that, you know, where we were and how far we'd come. Just celebrating a lot of little tiny wins. And I wanted to share that because this is how we change. This is how we get ourselves out of the victim mindset and always focusing on all the things that are going wrong. And you start focusing on all the things that you're doing right. It doesn't matter how small it is. Did you remember to brush your teeth? That's a big deal. Especially for a lot of people. Especially people that are struggling with depression and anxiety. And also people that have struggled with addictions. That's a big deal. May not seem like much, but it is. So many things. Celebrate it. Celebrate yourself. You don't have to go out and buy something, or you don't have to go out and have a fancy dinner or whatever it may be, but you can still tell yourself good job and do it for everything. Do it for everything. So now is the time that I'm gonna let you go, because I've still got another video to make. I'm gonna make one more, and then I'm gonna go ahead and make more the next day, because it is I love you, Danielle. You crack me up. Are you walking like earlier? tiptoe. But what else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, especially right now you need to focus. Night, baby. Especially right now with the way things are gonna be with the energy and all of that stuff. Celebrating the small wins is really gonna help with your mental health. Okay. That's why I even started the whole thing about with Gemini, and now I'm coming right back around and I'm closing up the circle, and letting you know that you need to celebrate the small wins to make sure that you build up a strong mental health, because of how everything's going to be. Because when we struggle with our mental health, those dirty negative thoughts will creep in, and they're not our thoughts. They're actually words that were given to us, and we accepted them. We took them on as ours. They may have been said to us by other people, but that does not mean that they have to be ours. We as children took the blame, and we accepted it as our own. And even though those words were not ours, we still keep them as ours, because we think that they're true, because other people said it. Crazy, right? Crazy. They are not ours. Those are not your words. You can let them go. They don't belong to you. They don't belong to you. So, in order to be able to let them go, you got to start changing the way you think. And this is one of the tools. One of the tools. Write it down. Write down all the good things that you have been able to accomplish. Make yourself a list. You know how cool that is whenever you write down all the things that you have accomplished? Holy crap. The smallest things. You've been able to do like 10 jumping jacks. I don't care. Write it down. It's important, because you have to see that you can do a lot of things. So, celebrate the small wins, guys. Write in the comments below, like some of the wins that you are celebrating, because I would love to read that. I really would love to hear all the little wins, because I love celebrating other people too. It's one of my favorite things. Like, I celebrate my kids all the time. I tell them all the time when they're driving me to work how proud I am of them. I always tell my kids how proud I am of them, and And they're like, yeah, I know, Mom, because like I didn't really hear that a lot as a child. And so I take it upon myself to tell my kids all the time what I'm proud of them for doing. And so like I tell my girls especially how proud I am of how good they are at driving. And so, but that's because I taught them. So, win for me. See, here we go. Okay, so I love you all, and buckle up, Buttercup. Things are about to get bumpy, but that's okay, because you got me here being on this ride, and it's Sheena, and I'm your guide. I know, I'm so Dr. Seuss. What can I say? But here I am, and I will help you through this whole entire mess, okay?